You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Cabral Concept. I'm Stephen Cabral, board-certified naturopathic doctor. Happy to have you with me here today, and looking forward to getting into our first house call of the weekend. You'll notice that my voice is a little bit more hoarse than usual, so we'll just get that purple elephant out of the way right up front. I'm recording this on Thursday, and that was the same day that I recorded yesterday's Friday review. So still the same day, still dealing with that hoarse voice. And if you want to hear more about that, check out yesterday's show as to why I might be dealing with that. But we always move on, right? We always push forward, and that is no different today with our first host call of the weekend. I feel great, body feels great, mind feels great, just the voice does not feel great, but that's okay. We can move through that. It's a minor hiccup in the way to being able to get our community the answers that they need and deserve. So what we're going to do today is go through all of the questions that I have. I will give my voice a rest overnight, should be feeling pretty recovered. And then when I come into the office tomorrow on Friday, I will record Sunday's Cabral HouseCall. So as always, looking forward to answering your questions. We are going to be going through additional questions, let's say about 6 to 8 questions, which is typically what we do on each show of our weekend house calls. And these have all been submitted at stephencabral.com/ask Cabral. Now, do keep in mind that these questions take anywhere from about 10 to 12 weeks to answer. So I always recommend, if possible, try to ask all of those questions you may have over at cabralsupportgroup.com. That is where you get your questions answered on a daily basis by my health coaching team. And if they ever don't have the answer that you are looking for, they just screenshot your question and they send it right over to me, and I answer those for you. So that's a service that we are happy to provide. And like I said, as always, happy to be able to answer your questions on these weekend house calls, as long as you know that they will take about 10 to 12 weeks to get to from where you submit your question. They simply come in on a first come, first serve basis. All right, let's get right into the show. Okay, the first question is coming in from Rachel. Rachel's asking, I ordered an organic acids test. A Western doctor diagnosed me with SIBO without doing any tests and prescribed me the pharmaceutical for 3 months. My question is, if I do the organic acid test, now being on the pharmaceutical for 1 month, will results be a bad reflection? Do I have to wait to take the organic acids test? Great question. We do this all the time, since so many people that are using the pharmaceutical drug that you're using relapse after about 2 months. So what I would do is, if you're using that pharmaceutical drug, simply purchase the test, wait 2 months since you've been off of the drug, and then see where your levels are at. And that will tell you if you do have that overgrowth in terms of candida or C. diff or other types of bacterial overgrowth, even beneficial. I would also recommend running the stool test as well. If you do both of those, you'll have all the data you need to get started and certainly see if you have SIBO still. All right, Elaine is up next. I recently had an organic acids test done, and I was wondering if you sent the results, could you interpret it for me, and what would that cost? Great question. So organic acids test is certainly one of the most popular ones out there. I'd like to say we had a little bit of influence in promoting that lab, since it is so amazing. Remember, we don't own it at all. I'm such a big proponent of recommending the best products and services out there. And so this is what we use. And of course, we offer it to people, and that comes with my reading of it and my interpretation recommendations, and then obviously a personal protocol to go along with that. So, Elaine, what you can do is, if you are a private wellness client of our practice, you are welcome to have us interpret it and make recommendations for you. Simply email support@stevencabral.com for more information, and we'll take care of you. Tori's up next. What are the benefits of salt caves? What should you look for when deciding between salt caves or rooms? Is there research that supports halotherapy, dry salt therapy, as treatment for conditions, ailments the salt caves claim? COPD, asthma, allergies, skin conditions like eczema and acne. Tori, this is a great question. This is not my area of expertise, but I've certainly looked into this myself. So when I looked into it, I saw that there seemed to be pretty good results with people with the exact things that you named, the allergies, asthma, and skin conditions such as psoriasis or eczema, not as much with acne. And the reason why I believe we're seeing this is a few reasons. One, we're breathing in much purer air, right? So the air is extremely clean in there, and also there's more of a negative ion discharge. So, you can go deep down the rabbit hole with this. I want to step back a little bit because I feel like that's my job. And I am a proponent. I have no problem with the dry salt therapy, and I have no problem with Epsom salt baths, and I have no problem with going to a place like Iceland and swimming in the natural springs. All of that's amazing, without a doubt, and do it. Great. However, I'm always the person that asks, did you have a spring or a salt cave deficiency? You did not, right? So what I want to know is, why did they have allergies or asthma or the skin condition in the first place? That's me. I just consider myself a why guy. That's it. Ask why. So all of these things go back to gut-based conditions. They honestly do. And so it's been a theme, I guess, so far today, but running an organic acids test and running a stool test, investing the money in those two labs will give you so much more return than investing in salt caves, salt rooms, etc. And again, I'm not against them. However, you want to get to the root cause, and the root cause was not a lack of being in a salt cave or room. All right? Linda's up next. In June, I started itching first my head in the earlobes, and it seemed to go away, and then it started on my hands and feet. The strange thing is that it would have been gone for almost some time, 2 to 3 weeks, and then come back. Then I broke out in hives. My doctor suggested histamine and prednisone. The hives would come and go. Right now, they seem to be gone, but my hands, feet, and head are itching again. Any suggestions? I must say the Sarna has saved my craziness of the itching, and it does help somewhat. Okay, so here's my recommendation based on what you wrote in, right? I can only go on what people wrote in. That you've developed or you started to add in some new type of food that your body's sensitive to, and you're having what's called an IgE reaction. That means there is some food that you're eating that's causing a cytokine, histamine, or some type of immunoglobulin-based response. So what I'm recommending is to find out what that food may be. Now, if it's an IgE perspective, you can certainly run that lab. We run what's called an IgG. So we look at foods that can be causing the itchiness over a day, 2 days, or even 3 days. That's a big, big suggestion for me. Another one is that organic acids test. Not as much the stool, but you could. One thing is, too, is if you got food poisoning or you were traveling and then you came back a week or two later with this itchiness, then without a doubt it could be parasites. So, when in doubt, of course, my goal is to test. And I would run, if you came into my practice, I would say food sensitivity test, organic acids test, stool test for parasites, without a doubt. What else can I add for you? Well, that's the best I can do is make those recommendations. And honestly, you'd probably be able to figure it out with those labs because it would be process of elimination. So that's what I would do. It does seem like it is some type of histamine-based reaction. We just don't know why. So again, we need to figure out why. Now, it could be a simple food that you added in. Did you start adding in something like a different type of nut milk? Or did you start adding in fermented vegetables? Did you add in a different brand of shampoo or conditioner? Or what about laundry detergent? It could be anything. And so without me being able to go through that with you, and you'll have to do those questions on your own. And then if not, then you'll run the labs to figure out exactly what's going on. Okay, the next question is from Anthony. I'd like to get more information on getting tests to discover the root cause of my health issues. How do I get started? A great question. This came in on October 10th of 2018. Keeping in mind, everyone, that these questions will not be seen for a full 10 to 12 weeks. You can always ask these questions right at cabralsupportgroup.com, which is our free private Facebook group. And if for whatever reason you do not you're one of the few people that don't have a Facebook account, then you can email support@stephencabral.com. We'll take care of you. Oh, sorry, I didn't answer your question. Anthony, happy to answer your question. So there's a few things you can do. You can go to equilibriumnutrition.com and you can just click on the labs tab. That will show you all the different labs. So the Big Five is what we recommend for everyone if they're able to, because it literally looks at all of the different biomarkers we want to see on how we can make the greatest amount of bio-individual based recommendations for nutrition, exercise, detoxification, etc. And then, as you heard earlier on today's show, if it's a digestive issue, well, we're looking at organic acids test, stool test, and then food test. If it's hormones, we're looking at thyroid adrenal hormone. If it's inflammation, we're looking at omega-3 as well as the gut-based testing. If it's heavy metals as well as energy and stress, we're looking at the hair tissue mineral analysis. So that will absolutely get you started and on your way with looking at all of your numbers. All right, Alex is up next. You were on the Mind Pump podcast and great info. I wanted to see if you could send me additional tips on psoriasis in the website to remove metal from teeth. Thanks again. All right, so what I would do is if you can get a copy of The Rain Barrel Effect. It's on Amazon. It's at equilibriumnutrition.com. It's sold in at least a dozen different countries. And The Rain Barrel Effect, 100% of profits go to charity. And it will take you exactly through where to find a biological dentist to remove the mercury amalgams from your teeth. It tells you on how to do a detoxification to help with psoriasis. It helps with elimination diet, and it will also teach you about lab testing to figure out why you may have that psoriasis in the first place. And again, surprise, surprise, but we look at your gut-based testing for psoriasis as well. That's how we help people. Elizabeth, this question is also from 1010. Hey, Dr. Cabral, it doesn't seem as if you've spoken about chicory root before. I was wondering if it's a good alternative to those who drink coffee. Given the prebiotic nature of inulin, presumably it may not do well with some people. I know you've mentioned inulin before in your show, but wondered your thoughts about drinking chicory root. Thanks for all and all the best. Thanks, Elizabeth. Actually, I have spoken about chicory root, so thank you for bringing that up, but it's probably been, I'd say it's been about 1.5 to 2 years. So, yes, there's a product called Dandy Blend, I believe, and it's made out of chicory root and inulin, and it's a coffee alternative. I believe another company called Ticino makes a coffee alternative as well like that. So the reason we do not use it typically in my practice is that we work with so many people, just as you alluded to, with candida overgrowth, SIBO, which is bacterial overgrowth in the gut, and maybe other issues that would allow for fermentation of that inulin. So we don't do that. If someone loves coffee, then we do a certain amount based on if they're a slow oxidizer or fast oxidizer. Well, here's what we do. To be honest, we literally help people get well through the gut. So we'll do the testing, or we'll have them do the candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. They'll add the parasite protocol if needed. And once their gut is healthy again, adding back in the good probiotics and vegetables, then they can try that chicory root. So that would be fine if they wanted to try that as an alternative. It's also a little less as a coffee alternative because it's all liquid-based, although you're still getting much of the inulin as well. So again, Elizabeth, like most of my answers, it really depends on who the person is. If you're perfectly healthy, well, then it's probably going to work out fine for you. But if you have digestive issues such as bloating, we do not recommend it. All right, who is up next? Let's see. This is from October 11th. Tiffany's up next. You've said in your podcast that you don't have to wait 6 weeks, that your emails are behind to find out which test you would recommend taking, but I'm not sure if this is the right place to ask questions. It's about my daughter. She's 5 years old. We recently moved from the U.S. to Costa Rica. It's been around 6 weeks. Previously, her diet has been great, not a picky eater. All right, it's a longer question, so I'm going to give you all the basis there. We're eating a lot of whole foods, salads, Portuguese sardines. We're avoiding gluten, over-glutenizing ourselves, white sugar. We try to use stevia. We buy organic. Let's see what else is going on. Since we moved here, every time she eats, and very little of that, she claims her belly hurts. I think I already know what's going on. Look up Latin and South and Central America and H. pylori. I don't even need to really read more of your questions. H. pylori is so prevalent, and it is quite prevalent in Costa Rica as well. There's a great chance that your daughter has H. pylori. I'm not a betting man. I'm really not. If I've ever been to Las Vegas, I still don't bet. But here's the deal. I bet your daughter has H. pylori. and that will cause this bloating right off the bat. All right, so here's what we want to do. We want to run a stool test. You can find a doctor down in Costa Rica, and they will run an H. pylori stool test for you. Do not use the breath test, and I don't recommend the blood test as much either. Use the stool test. Try to do the 3-day test. I don't believe Equilibrium Nutrition ships to Costa Rica. If you're back in the U.S., then you can run that lab with your daughter. If not, you can find a doctor down there that will be able to run that for you. That is exactly what I would do. I mean, without a doubt. And that will test for parasites as well. All right. So I don't believe it could be parasites. It could be parasites. But check for that H. pylori. All right. Valerie's up next. She writes in, "Hello, Dr. Ball. First off, thank you for the Rain Barrel Effect. Really enjoyed the book. It was packed full of easy-to-read information. I've been telling everyone about it. I'm 57 years old, and since my 30s, I've not followed a very good diet and drank a lot of wine and excess coffee. In March, I went to Whole Foods, plant-based diet, gave up drinking, zero coffee. I suffer from adrenal fatigue. I'm working with a functional medicine doctor. And let's see what else is going on. I'm waiting my results of the organic acids test and stool test. My mom had breast cancer at 54. She's now 91. My sister has been recently diagnosed at 60. My sister is a heavy drinker. She eats junk food, even though she's vegan. I was tested several years ago for the BRCA1 and tested very low. My question is, with all my years of drinking poor lifestyle, does this increase my chance of developing disease later in life? I've done too much damage over the years. Thank you, and always look forward to your podcast." Valerie, this is a great question. Thank you for writing in with this. And absolutely not. You can literally transform your life, in my opinion, if you catch it before it happens. So we even know people with plaque in the arteries, with plaque in the brain, right, which leads to Alzheimer's, with degeneration of the joints, that we can halt it in its tracks so that you don't get it, and we can also reverse much of these issues. Even if you stop smoking, right, you smoked for 20 years and you stop for 6 months, and you look at, sorry, my voice is cracking. If you look at the availability of lung function that comes back after that time, it's amazing, without a doubt. Here's what we want to do. You're doing so great. I want you to work with your functional medicine doctor. I want you to do a 21-day detox to really get out a lot of those toxins and heavy metals. Well, I would love you to do a 21-day detox, but I would also love you to do an intestinal cleanse after you do your heavy metal detox, all right? Let's get rid of all of those things that could lead to cancer, right? And then every 12 weeks, I want you just to maintain with a 7-day functional medicine detox or Dr. Ball detox, whatever you choose to do. And then I want to make sure that you're on more of this plant-based diet, that you're getting your 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Ideally, you're doing what I do, which is the daily protocol, right? The daily foundational protocol. You can find all of these over at equilibriumnutrition.com. But no, without a doubt, don't believe that you will get cancer because of your previous indiscretions. You're doing great now, and I'm so happy to hear that you've made all of these amazing changes. Keep up the great work. Vivian is up next. My name is Viv. I currently have multiple food sensitivities, which include histamine and salicylates and amines. I pronounce it sometimes amines. These are recently in the past year. I've done multiple hair tests over the years and hormone tests. I'm on DHEA, as this hormone is very low after being on birth control for 20 years and coming off 3 years ago. I don't metabolize copper well, and I have low levels of copper and estrogen. I'm struggling mainly with brain fog and fatigue, also generally still unsure of what to eat and when. Eating around 25 foods on rotation, following fail-safe diet approach. What I want, someone to help guide me out of a state of intolerance. Let's see what else she wants. To help guide me on what foods to eat so that I have energy to get through the day without resorting to chocolate. And someone to help me heal my gut with most of the traditional supplements and healing methods are off limits because I can't tolerate. Can you help, and how would we get things started? I've sent a few messages before, but no reply. So I'm hoping to get this and can get back in contact. So anyone that doesn't get a reply, it just means that it's through the wrong channel. Like if you're messaging me on Facebook, I never see it, right? I honestly don't. Because we get over 1,000 messages a day. So if you want a reply, you will absolutely get one at cabralsupportgroup.com in our Facebook group, because I employ 3 people there just to answer questions. That's on me. That's a service that I try to provide to you. There's no charge to be in that group. Another way that you will absolutely get your question answered is by emailing us directly at support@stephencabral.com. Now remember, if my name's spelled incorrectly, we can't do anything about that. So, all joking aside is our job is to help you. So it's Stephen Cabral. It's STEPHENCABRAL.com. Simply email support@stephencabral.com or let us know at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's it. Either one of those, no doubt you will get an answer within 48 hours, Monday through Friday. So, of course, we can help you. We'd be happy to help you, without a doubt. We do this every day of the week. This is what my team and myself do. We do it well. We honestly do. We're a referral-only practice, and we've completed over 250,000 appointments. We, without a doubt, have the data and the knowledge to be able to help you, and that's our job. And so we take our job very, very seriously. All right, John is up next. Dear Dr. Ball, I've been diagnosed with benign prostate hypertrophy, BPH, and I'm getting up 3 to 4 times a night. I don't believe I've slept more than 4 hours straight in 3 years. I'm 57 years old, and doctors say it's normal, part of aging, and I wholeheartedly disagree. My wife and I eat clean, take supplements, work out 4 to 5 times a week, and are in good health. What are your recommendations for shrinking the prostate? There's got to be something that causes this condition. God bless. John, thank you for writing in. Great question. Happy to help with this. All right, first things first. Let's test your hair tissue mineral analysis, and let us test your organic acids test. That's called the starter test. You might be high, or you might be low in zinc. You might be higher in copper. You might be lower in a couple of other nutrients that I need, as well as higher in candida, as well as higher in some of the heavy metals. If you do that, it will directly affect the prostate. There's no doubt about it. I've just seen it over and over in my practice, especially low zinc. So, yes, you can start with, we have a product called Prostate Support. It does exactly what it says it does, right? We don't come up with fancy names. It's called Prostate Support. That's what it does. It's the best product that I was able to formulate. Literally, it's the best out there, the best available based on current research. It works. 3 capsules with dinner, or you can do 1 at each meal. I typically just say 3 capsules at dinner. However, I would love for you to run the labs first, because if it's a heavy metal issue, we need to do a heavy metal detox. And you probably want to do overall a 21-day detox, or just to begin with, to clean that slate. But run the labs first. Then you'll do the 21-day detox, and then you'll find out what the labs say, and then you'll begin figuring out what it is, because it could also be high cortisol at night. If you have high cortisol at night, it can have nothing to do with the prostate. Your prostate can be totally fine, but you can urinate throughout the entire night because your body does not produce enough melatonin and enough anti-diuretic hormone. So again, there's more than one answer here. We need to figure out the right answer for you. And John, functional medicine lab testing, honestly, it doesn't matter if it's with us or not. My goal is just to teach. That's it. You find a doctor that's able to do this with you in your locale, then more power to you, and I wish you the best, and I want to hear your success story. All I want is to hear millions of success stories. That's it, right? That is what I'm looking to do. We are very busy, and we will never turn anyone away, and we want to help everyone out there. But if you want to work with one of my team in the future, with my integrative health practitioners that we're teaching to do this, or you want to work with your own local doctor, you're welcome to. Right now, honestly, the best way to do it is simply by going to equilibriumnutrition.com. Use one of the outside labs that we recommend there. I read your labs. I make the recommendations. You get on the phone with one of my health coaches, and we figure this out for you, right? Because if you're getting up 3 to 4 times a night, even if we can cut that down to once a night, right, or twice a night, you get so much better quality sleep. But I don't know how old you are. It says you're 57. All right. So I'll tell you, we see this all the time. At 57, that's 57 years young, not 57 years old. We should not be dealing with 3 to 4 times a night. Let's fix this for you, John. Let us help. We'd be happy to help you with this. But again, I've already given you how to go about it, and you're welcome to want to work with one of your local naturopathic doctors or functional medicine doctors or local integrative health practitioners near you. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to give my voice a rest now for the evening. I'm going to go home. I'm going to have dinner with my 3 girls. I'm going to have a nice, relaxing evening. I'm going to get into bed early. I'm going to take my immune boosters. I'm going to use my zinc throat spray. I'm going to take a shot of fire cider. I'm going to do all the things that I preach, right? My voice is cracking right on cue. I'm going to practice what I preach. Remember, every once in a while, your body will get run down. Every once in a while, even when you are a healthy human being, you will get sick, especially if you have these little ones running around the house that bring all the germs-based home. It happens to the best of us. It's not a big deal. You get yourself well within 72 hours, and I'm hoping tomorrow that my voice will be back in tip-top shape. Either way, The house calls will continue. Talk to you tomorrow, everyone. Take care. Have a great weekend.
Did you know that the body really only becomes sick or imbalanced in only 2 ways? Over time, you become deficient in vital nutrients, and you also accumulate toxins internally and from the environment. As those nutrients diminish and you increase your total toxic load, your body then begins to show the first signs of dis-ease. It's actually quite predictable, and the good news is that if we know how you began to fill up that proverbial rain barrel, we also know how to empty it to begin the healing process. I was fortunate enough to learn this ancient healing process from my mentor after suffering from debilitating diseases for close to a decade. It was only when I began to implement these techniques did I finally overcome my illnesses and go on to live a life of energy and vitality that I now enjoy. I'd like to share with you now what I discovered after traveling all over the world and how to combine the best of ancient healing wisdom with state-of-the-art science. Allow me to teach you exactly how I've been able to help over 250,000 people to empty their rain barrel and begin to transform their body and lives into what they've always hoped they could be. To get your copy of the international bestseller, The Rain Barrel Effect, simply go to stephencabral.com/rainbarrel.